Hey, what is going on, guys? Inferno LH here, and today we're going to be going over some of Terraria's most obscure items. These are just some random items that are in the game which we found unique. You probably didn't even know some of these items in this video existed. I've got my friend here who helped me pick out some of these items.
Hello.
Let's get right on into these items.
The first item we'll be talking about is the rope coil. To explain what this item does, it's a throwable rope that turns into climbable rope once it hits a block. If you throw it at the same spot continually, it will extend the rope until it reaches a height or depth limit. To obtain this item, you can craft one rope coil with 10 pieces of rope. While this item isn't particularly useless, it's not used very much by most people, and usually it's easier to place rope by yourself out of your hotbar most of the time.
The second items we've got here is the spider chandelier and the spider candelabra. I decided to put these two furniture items on the list because they're just so ugly. I mean, seriously, I've never seen anyone use these in any builds. The chandelier is literally just a spider hanging from the ceiling, and the candelabra looks like a spider with eggs on it. These could probably be used for a few builds that look good, maybe for some Halloween themed build or something along those lines. Pretty obscure item though.
The third item we'll be talking about is the marshmallow on a stick. How you use this item is you hold it over a campfire for about a minute, then it will be removed from your inventory and replaced by a cooked marshmallow, which when eaten, can provide a well-fed buff that boosts some stats. To obtain a marshmallow on a stick, you have to craft it using a marshmallow, which can be bought for 1 silver coin from the merchant NPC while he's living in the snow biome, and 1 piece of any type of wood, which you can easily get just by chopping down trees. This is another one of those items that, again, isn't really useless, but barely used by anybody because of how it's obtained, and also the fact that there are other food items that are way easier to obtain.
The fourth item on the list is leather. If you've heard of this item, I'd be quite surprised. Leather is a crafting material that is crafted from rotten chunks. That literally makes no sense, but whatever. The leather itself is only used to craft one thing, part of the archaeologist vanity set. It only crafts the leggings and the torso for some reason. The hat is dropped by the Dr. Bones zombie that rarely spawns in the jungle. Here's a reference to Indiana Jones. Makes me wonder though, why isn't the full set either crafted from leather or just have the full set dropped from Dr. Bones? I guess we'll never know. I would say leather is the most obscure crafting material in the game though.
The fifth and sixth items are the Advanced Combat Techniques books. There are 2 versions of these, but the effects they have are pretty similar to each other. The first version, when used, will make your town NPCs have a higher defense rating. The second version increases the amount of damage your town NPCs will deal while defending themselves. The first one is obtained by fishing during a blood moon, while the second one is obtained by throwing a spell tome into the shimmer. While both of these can be considered obscure, the second one could especially be considered obscure, as the vast majority of Terraria players would never even think to throw a spell tome into a shimmer.
The 7th item is the Flask of Party. Drinking this flask gives you a buff that lasts for 20 minutes. This buff makes it so all of your melee weapons create confetti everywhere. For some reason, I've noticed that for some melee weapons, the confetti spawns when you hit a player or NPC. And for some other weapons, it spawns whenever you just swing the weapon. This flask gives you no advantage in any way, it's just for the visuals. I will say that it can be very fun to mess around with. The confetti that spawns will fall to the ground and stay there for a little while before fading away.
The 8th item we'll talk about is the Party Bullet. Due to the fact that it is a type of bullet, it can only be used with ranged weapons classified as guns. The effect of the Party Bullet is the exact same as the Party Flask, where it will explode into confetti once it damages an enemy. One important caveat to mention though, is that the effect of the Party Bullet will still go into effect even if it hits a block. Just like the Flask of Party, it has no real effect on gameplay as the confetti doesn't do anything to give you an advantage. and the bullet itself barely deals any more damage than the standard musket bullets. They can be obtained by crafting using empty bullets, which are bought from the arms dealer, and the confetti, which are bought from the party girl.
The 9th and 10th items we have here are the dirt bombs and the sticky dirt bombs. The dirt bomb is crafted using dirt and a bomb. The sticky bomb is crafted from a dirt bomb and gel. These bombs basically act as an inverse bomb. Wherever they are thrown and explode, they will create a spherical shape of dirt. As you could have guessed, the sticky version can be thrown and stuck to blocks for more precision. I could be wrong, but I don't see people using these much. But they could come in handy if you're trying to fill in a large hole. It is very easy to not fill in 100% of a hole though, as the range of the dirt bomb is really not that large.
The 11th and 12th items that will be discussed are the fart cart and the Terra fart cart. These two items are different types of minecarts that you can use to ride on minecart tracks. Functionally speaking, they're identical to a standard minecart with no additional features that would make them extra useful during normal gameplay. What these two minecarts do is make a farting noise when running into a bumper at the end of a track or when jumping. The Terra fart cart has the added ability of leaving a trail of green particles when braking on minecart tracks. To obtain the fart cart, you have to combine a basic minecart with a whoopee cushion, and it can be further used to make a Terra fart cart when combined with a Terra toilet. While these can be used in place of a basic minecart, they're more so meant to be used as an amusement rather than an actual utility due to the fart sound effects.
The 13th obscure item is the rockfish. The rockfish is obtained from fishing in the underground. This item is pretty unique. Well, because it's a fish that is a hammer. It can be pretty funny to swing a fish around to destroy walls, or you could use it as a weapon if you'd like. It isn't really that great of a hammer though. It isn't a common drop to get while fishing underground, and by the time you get it, you probably already have a hammer with a higher hammer power. It definitely is really fun to use though.
The 14th item that will be discussed is the candy cane hook. The candy cane hook, as the name would imply, is a grappling hook that looks like a candy cane. Functionally, it is identical to a basic grappling hook with no special effects. Truth be told, it isn't entirely useless, as you can use it as a grappling hook if you're lucky enough to get it early on in the game until you get something better. It's only really obscure due to the way it's obtained, which is by opening presents dropped by any enemy during the Christmas seasonal event in the game. On another note, is this a hook made out of candy cane? Or is it a normal grappling hook painted to look like a candy cane?
The 15th item we'll cover is the slap hand. This is a unique melee weapon that can be obtained from the skeleton merchant during a blood moon in hard mode. How does the skeleton merchant know it's a blood moon? I have no idea. He's always in caves. Anyways, this weapon is pretty unique because it does the highest base knockback in the game. It does an okay amount of damage, but that's not why you get this weapon. It's pretty fun to hit enemies with it and watch them go flying. It even makes a slap sound effect when you hit them. You can also increase the weapon's knockback even further using modifiers and accessories, which we did not use in the video. That's its default knockback.
The 16th and final item for today's video is the javelin. The javelin is a thrown ranged weapon that has a base damage of 16 and can pierce multiple enemies. Since it is a stacked thrown weapon, it cannot be reforged to have a modifier. This weapon, in theory, could replace shurikens and throwing knives. However, when you factor in how they're obtained, you really shouldn't go out of your way to get javelins. The only way to get javelins is as a drop from hoplites, which spawn in marble biomes and caves. Hoplites are decently tough enemies to deal with, particularly very early in the game, and by the time you're able to take them on without much issue, the gear you have will usually have already surpassed the power of javelins, whereas shurikens and throwing knives can be obtained fairly easily from chests and pots on the surface as soon as you start a new playthrough. So, all in all, you should only really use javelins if you happen to obtain them.
Well, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully you didn't know all of these items we discussed today. If you did enjoy, could you please like and subscribe to the channel? I would really appreciate it. I will also leave the link to my Discord server in the description if you want to join that. But anyways, that is going to be it, and goodbye.